All right, it's me, Tracy Barber. I'm back, and I just had a little bit more advice for you. All right, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how you can pass your real estate licensing test the first time. I've helped a lot of agents pass this test, and here's a little piece of advice I would give you. First of all, when you finish the classes, don't wait too long. I think you need to take that test within 3 weeks. Otherwise, your brain's going to start to release all the stuff that you learned from the 40 hours, and then you're just going to be trying to play catch up and re-go over every chapter. So set the test, set it within 2 to 3 weeks of finishing your class. As you're taking the classes, after you go over each chapter, you should be taking the practice test right then for each chapter, so that as you're going, you're building up knowledge and you're testing your competency in each of the chapters as you go. So then the other thing I recommend is when you're done with the class and you're finished the 40 hours is take some of the full practice tests. There's some Jackie Connolly, if you take Jackie Connolly's class, which when you book a call below, we'll talk to you about her class or point you in other directions if that class doesn't work for you. But she has 24/7 classes ready to go. So I highly recommend you use Jackie's class. Jackie Connolly is one of the best instructors I've ever known. I think you'll really love her classes. So book a call below. She'll get on the phone with you and help you get ready for that test and get those classes going. After you're done with all the classes, the 40 hours, take some of the full tests that she offers. She has some resources where you can find other tests like on Quizlets and some other sites where you can, I think night before the exam is another one where you will be able to take some full practice tests and test where your competency is at. You need a 70% score or better to pass. And you only know where you scored when you fail. If you pass, you just get a pass. You don't know how well you did or where you fell in each area. But if you didn't pass, then you know exactly where your competencies lacked. So just make sure you're taking tests as you go through the chapters and then taking the full practice test afterwards. I also highly recommend, if you're not grasping the glossary terms, is just study the glossary terms. If you know that the actual glossary terms and you can define, explain what any of the glossary terms means, then you'll be in very good shape. They could reword a question all they want. You're going to know what the glossary terms mean. Some people that have a little bit harder time with tests, I've recommended they do flashcards. So create glossary term flashcards, put it, and then work it both ways. Turn it over with a definition, read the definition and ask, what is that word? And then turn it over and reshuffle them and say, what is the word? And you have to give the definition. You could play this with your family or your kids. It's fun. So creating flashcards, that's another good tip for passing that test. So really, it's just a matter of getting good at each of the areas and figuring out where you struggle a little bit, spending more time in those areas, taking a full practice test to see where you score, and then really studying the glossary terms that you're just having trouble with. And then just remember, they're always going to try to trip you up. The questions are worded strangely, more strangely than you'd ever ask the question. But just know that they're trying to trip you up. And when you're taking the test, I highly advise you do this. You go through the first round of the test. You have plenty of time. I think you have 3 hours to take the test. You go through it the first time, answer all the questions you're very confident about. So maybe you get half of the questions answered the first time around. Then you go back around and you start to work on the ones you weren't completely sure of. The second time around, usually you'll find half of those that you're pretty confident in and you can slowly work through and take a couple minutes on each one and answer to your best of your abilities. You'll probably feel like you got a good number of those right too. And then you'll have a chunk, probably a quarter of the questions left that are just really tough, that you're trying to figure them out, you're just not sure. Typically those have 1 or 2 answers you can automatically throw out. You just know they're not options. So then it's down to 1 or 2. And you try to predict the probability that it's one over the other. And then again, go through and answer the ones that you feel like you got a good shot at. And then you're going to have a few that you're just like, I'd have no idea. Again, try to eliminate the answers that just don't make any sense. And you might have 5 to 10 questions that you just literally take a guess at. But if you eliminate a couple of the answers, you're a 50-50 probability of getting it right. So approaching the test in the right manner is also how you pass the test. So I hope this was helpful. Just a quick video, but I wanted to share it with you because I think it's important to understand kind of some of the tips and tricks I've seen and helped agents with over the years and passing that test the first time. The good news is if you pass one half of it and don't pass the other half, you don't have to take the whole thing over. So, and don't underestimate the state portion. State portion is a little harder than most people think it's going to be, and it's shorter, so you think, okay, I don't have to spend as much time on it, but some people do fail that because they just don't spend enough time. If you have any questions or run into any things that are stumping you, sometimes we are able to put it into layman terms. So when you jump into Jackie Conley's real estate school, you will have that opportunity to bounce questions off her as you're studying and say, you know what, Jackie, this is really just tripping me up. Can you help explain this a little differently to me? And oftentimes that's all that it takes to kind of help an agent understand, or a potential agent understand, what's going on, what are they asking, what are they looking for an answer. Best of luck. Book a call now. If you're not in the real estate school yet, we'd love to get you into it and get you started on the path of getting your real estate license. And if you've already got your real estate license, book a call with us. We'd love to chat with you about what we offer, how we can help mentor you and coach you and help you launch a successful real estate career. Have a great day.